Buenas, aquí Black Gaming, estamos con Stories The Path of Destinies, episodio 11, puede que sea el último, no lo sé. Quiero terminar ya la historia principal, hemos desbloqueado todas las verdades, sabemos que la Sky Reaper es inestable, sabemos que la Pino es un traidor, se nos siente algo por nosotros y la piedra Iblis corrompe al que lo usa. Sabemos todo eso y el juego por ahora nos aparece como unos simbolitos diciéndonos el camino que tenemos que coger. No sé si eso es así, no lo sé, ya lo veremos. Por ahora hemos elegido rescatar a Lapino y usar eso a nuestro favor, porque sabemos que es un traidor y lo podemos usar. A ver qué te dice.
Many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
Enfréntate al traidor Lapino. Vale, voy a intentar hacerlo lo más rápido posible, ¿vale? Antes de jugar a este capítulo, he grabado ya antes otro vídeo intentando el camino, ¿vale?
But he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Ooh, was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Pues eso, he jugado antes y he grabado un capítulo de hecho, pero era una historia que al final no terminaba bien. Era una historia más. Desbloqueábamos que Zenobia y Reinardo finalmente se dan un beso. A ver, no puedo hablar y combatir a la vez. Zenobia y Reinardo se dan un beso, pero Lapino mata a Reinardo.
Renato wanted badly to confront him for his treachery. But what good would that do him?
Lapino mataba a Reinardo y Zenobia mataba a Lapino. Y ahí terminaba. Y todo lo hicimos a sabiendas de todas las verdades. Lo que pasa que después de esto ya no nos indicaban nada. Así que tengo miedo de que sea un bug y ya no pueda terminar el juego o qué. ¿Perdona? O sea, no puedo bloquear si tengo a un tipo delante. Bueno. Eso, esperemos que salga todo bien. Por lo menos esta vez, joder. He tenido que grabar 2 capítulos, ya os digo. Que, a ver, no me importa. Al fin y al cabo, lo paso bien. Y ya está. Pero bueno. Lo que no me mola es no saber si está bugueado o qué. Tengo que me tiene un poco asustadito. A ver qué ocurre.
Bloody and exhausted, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengram III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
¿Veis? Ya no me sale el simbolito de la llave, que es lo que yo estaba buscando. Ya no me sale. esta era la historia que os comenté. Rescaté a Lapino, encontré a Zenobia, acepté el plan de Lapino, pero no llevé a Zenobia a los interrogadores. Y ya Lapino pues me traicionó, el hijo puta. No sé, no tengo ni idea. Vamos a probar esta.
Me? A traitor? I'm hurt, said Lapino. Why ever would you say that? We found your code book, said Renato. They hadn't, but he hoped Lapino would blow his cover. You got me, said Lapino. And you know what? I don't regret a thing. It's always about you, isn't it? You're the pretty hero. You get the girl, you get the medal, and what do I get? Rabbit food. I thought you liked rabbit food. Go to hell, said Lapino. And he made a gesture. And 20 ravens came out of nowhere and stabbed Renato to death.
No me jodas.
He had tried something bold and paid the...
No me jodas. Pues lo mandaba al núcleo del Skyrim. Joder, tío.
Right. Now, all Renato had to do was fight his way through Zenobia's invading troops, sneak onto her ship and into her bedroom, and kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her.
What?
Then, he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was, so she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did.
¿Por qué estamos aquí? ¿Por qué estamos aquí? ¿Qué cojones ha pasado? No he entendido nada, Efi. No sé si se ha bugueado o simplemente le he dado a saltar y me ha elegido la otra opción directamente. La de mandar a Lapino a por el Sky Reaper. Dios. Algo ha fallado. Algo ha fallado o es lo que os he dicho. Que al darle a saltar simplemente lo que me ha hecho es escoger la otra opción, la de... En lugar de denunciarle...
All my gates are going to open with buttons, and all the levers will drop rocks at your head.
La del lugar de denunciarle, mandarle a por el núcleo de Sky Reaper.
Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core.
Sí.
Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. No. The gem would corrupt anyone. Even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core. Boom. He was a super genius.
Envía a Lapino a por la piedra, ¿no? Es lo suyo.
This is terrible, Renato told the rabbit. If only I had gone for the Iblis Stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lapino a map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Said Lapino. I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out.
Hijo de
With
puta.
that, Lapino hopped off
Hijo
the
de
map.
puta. Joder, por favor, que salga bien. Por ahora va bien la cosa. Es decir, eso de que la podía corromper suena como que... Suena que se la hacemos, ¿no? Please. Quiere lanzar ya el garfio de las narices. Pero ¿por qué no le quita ya el escudo? Gracias. Venga. Sigamos nuestro camino. Ay, por favor, que salga bien. Vale. Este es el barco de
Renato
Somalia.
slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was, how sleek, how soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke,
Con su
and he noticed he had a
espada.
very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Purred a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat, said Renato. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice, someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. She understood. Renato told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept in a burnt village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous eldritch rituals they'd been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
Venga. Que salga bien, por favor. Que si hubiéramos mandado a Zenobia por la piedra Yulis, no creo yo que fuera bien aquello, ¿eh?
He couldn't tell her, not yet, why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself and Lupino up. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he'd followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He said. He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying. I always hated that about you, said Renato. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
Va, venga. Va a salir bien, va a salir bien. Oh, el final. Oh. Qué ganas. Leche, por favor. Vale, venga, vamos. Vamos, vamos. Como diría Rice del LOL.
Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you join in? No. I'd destroy his books and I'd... Oh, God. Okay, you're not completely wrong. They've resurrected one of his victims. Well, look, I mean, look, it's not exactly alive, but it can talk. A true witness, she said.
Que tenemos a Lapino fuera de juego para que no venga a destrozar nada del observatorio. Le hemos mandado la piedra a Iblis y así ya no nos puede seguir. Hostia, en verdad es un buen plan, ¿eh? Ahora que lo pienso. Porque era el que nos delataba al imperio donde estaba la base rebelde. O sea que... Madre mía. Está todo inventado. ¡Hostia! Que me da el fuego. Y otra vez. Madre mía. Dame focote. Y... Muévete, leche. Nah, esto lo esquivo así. Que yo no tengo que cambiar. Que le zurzan. ¡Yepa! Venga. Vamos. Oh, Dios mío. Hostias, está todo en llamas. ¿Por qué?
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere.
Aunque esto es lo que tenía que pasar para que Zenobia abriera los ojos.
Zenobia stared at the carnage. He didn't want me to hear the witness, did he? I guess not. What's your plan? She asked.
Eso es.
So, Renato explained his brilliant gambit. Sending Lapino to get the Iblis stone, become super powerful and corrupted, provoke the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too. Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help. Could he really trust
Sí.
her?
Sí.
He'd done it. He'd made Zenobia see how evil her father really was. He wished she didn't feel this urge to join in the rebellion. After all, he'd taken care of the Emperor, right? Yeah, but she'd always been conscientious like that. She told him she had to go somewhere first. So Renato gave her the location of the secret base, and they agreed to meet in the ruins. He had a very good feeling about this.
Claro que sí, coño, venga. Las verdades no nos muestran cómo Zenobia fue. Es decir, todas las historias, ninguna se ha dado que Zenobia fuera mala, ¿sabes? Como que fuera contra Reinaldo de primeras. Entonces...
What had Zenobia gone off to do? What was more important than meeting
No me
the rebel
jodas, por
council?
favor, no me jodas.
Had he made a mistake, sending her to the ruins? No. He knew they could trust each other. He could trust her because she never broke her word. And she could trust him because she could see right through him. Well, she'd probably be there well before him. She at least didn't have to fight her way to rainstorm the ravens. He thought about Hypatia. Oh, she'd been an amazing rabbit. She could talk to him about comics and talk to her son about history and battles, and talk to scholars about the ancient tomes hidden deep in the vaults of the library of Ubar. Oh, Renato really missed her.
Hipatia o como se llame, era la mujer con la que tuvo Reinaldo el hijo, el chavalito este que muere al principio. Pues esa. Curioso que se acuerde de ella ahora que está Zenobia aquí, ¿sabes? Madre mía. Cuando uno deja de pensar con el cerebro y piensa con el segundo cerebro. Guiño, guiño. Venga. ¿Por qué no? Ah, hostia,
As he
Lapino.
came around the bend, there was Lapino, unconscious on the side of the path. And Renato could smell a familiar, sweet, smoky scent.
Zenobia.
Zenobia. It had to be. She never used a combat spell when she could use drowsy gas. That meant she had the Iblis stone. What would it do to her? She hated her father now. She'd kill him for sure. The council wouldn't mind if she killed the Emperor, but murdering her father would destroy her. He had to get to whatever ledge she was on and talk her down from it.
Tío, dejadme pasar ya, leche.
Renato hated gogglers, but it freaked him out to cut them.
Pero yo no los odio, son fáciles de matar.
The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel
Venga,
base.
venga.
Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
Me habéis dado cuenta, ¿eh? Me ha golpeado, pero aún así he podido lanzar por los aires al que tenía agarrado. Hay unas cosas que pulir este juego, ¿no? Pues nada. Venga. Hasta la base. Eso es. Ábrete, sésamo. ¿Lo va a decir ahora?
Everyone in the council chamber was dead. Zenobia stood shivering in the courtyard, drenched in blood. Why? He managed. They started arguing with me. I lost my temper and I wanted their blood. Not me.
No, tío.
The stone did. Why did you take it from Lapino? I had a plan. You had a stupid plan, she said. I'm going to go kill my father now. No, you can't. You'll just take his place. You'll become worse than him. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too.
Tratar de detenerle probablemente sería mortal, pero los sentimientos que sentía por él tienen que ser...
You won't kill me, he said. And I won't let you kill the Emperor. Enraged, she raised the sword. You hate him too? He could sense the Iblis stone, yearning for his death. But she didn't strike. If you kill him, he'll destroy you. I know you. Shut up! She shouted, her sword trembling. I won't lose you again. Not for anything. Get away from me, he said, and he was very close. I can't lose you again. And he was in reach of her sword now. I hate him! I hate you too! I love you, he said for the very first time. And then she was weeping. He was
Oh,
holding her.
Dios. Oh,
The sword
Dios.
had dropped from her hand. He glanced at the Iblis stone. It was no longer the black of the void. It looked like coal. No. It glowed. Like a cinder. It was crackling, burning, crumbling into ashes. You've always loved me, haven't you? She said. She was weak. The stone had taken so much from her. Always, he said. She staggered as he helped her up. Let me take you away. Where? The island of Avalon. The sisters will heal you. He'll follow us. Then we need the Farfarer, the fastest ship in the Empire.
Venga. Venga, por Dios, que esta sea la buena, joder. Uf. Madre mía. Qué tensión en ese momento. Yo digo... Yo pensaba que se le iba a cargar. Le iba a clavar el puñal o algo, Dios mío. Si hubiera cogido la otra opción, si hubiera ido a por el emperador, ella, yo no sé lo que hubiera pasado. Puede que se la
The
carguen y todo
Empire
se va
had
al garete.
seized his ship. They'd have to take it back.
Capítulo 5. En el capítulo 5 suele terminar las historias, o sea que... veremos a ver.
Ah, impatient.
Venga.
Zenobia was in no shape to fight. But he'd never fought so well. He wasn't fighting for money or loot or a cause. He was fighting for her. For them. His sword danced, his feet flew, and the ravens recoiled from his ferocity.
Joder con el cuervito brujo.
Leave her dead.
Venga. Esta batalla no, por favor. Tío, más batallas no. Venga.
And there it was, his beautiful skycraft, the Farfarer. They would fare very far indeed, beyond the Empire, beyond the reach of the Empire, to
Por
the
favor,
mystical
que salga
island
bien.
of Avalon. He didn't know exactly where it was, but he knew he could find it. And they would find peace there. Second star on the right, and straight on till morning, laughed Zenobia. And they laughed together for the first time in a long time.
Me quería que me la iba a jugar, ¿sabes? No le iba a enganchar. Madre mía. Referencia más que usada. Venga. Otra batallita más. ¿En serio, tío?
This is quite the view, he thought.
Please. Ay. Pero si nos vamos, ¿qué va a ocurrir? Es decir... ¿El imperio qué pasa? Demasiado, demasiado. Para el body. Me cago en todo, que me matan. Tomar por culo ya, coño. Casi la palmo, Tú verás.
But they did not go unnoticed. Scout ships lifted off, and the long lance of the Imperial flagship. Renato turned downwind to gain speed. The Raven ships could pursue, but they couldn't close. The far speaker croaked, "Return her and live!" "Go sacrifice yourself," yelled Renato. "Then you won't have her either." On the flagship, the Emperor was readying some arcane weapon. It couldn't be. It was the core. A devastating beam lanced out of the flagship. Renato zigzagged wildly to keep the Farfair out of it. Now the Raven scout ships were closing the distance, and the beam was getting closer too.
No, por favor.
Then came a blinding flash, and the air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He could smell burnt oak and burnt feathers and burnt flesh. But when he could hear and see again, they were alive and unhurt. And they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it.
Oh, Dios.
And through love, they had won the war. "Avalon, here we come," he said as he held her arms wide in the prow of the boat and let her feel its speed. "Maybe the real Avalon is wherever we're together," she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Renato and Zenobia went to one of the two Avalons. The one shrouded in mists,
Oh, Dios mío.
or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell.
Bien. Tengo lágrimas en los ojos.
He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny. Well,
Sí.
he hadn't actually done it. But he knew what he would do. Renato smiled at the book. He practically wanted to kiss it. The kid's sacrifice hadn't been in vain. He'd saved the book and saved the world. Renato owed him and his mother so much. Renato lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. This time, he would win.
Bien. Joder, qué bueno. Pues esto ha sido Stories The Path of Destinies. Muy buena serie, la verdad, me lo he pasado genial. Espero que vosotros lo hayáis pasado bien también. La historia es genialísima también. El combate es lo único que resalto, es decir, el combate está chulo, es bastante dinámico. Pero luego era como que faltaban variedad de enemigos, no hay bosses. Y como que siempre es muy repetitivo. A los Assassin's Creed, ya os digo. Assassin's Creed tiene mucha más variedad de armas, de lanzar cositas, pero bueno, ya sabéis lo que quiero decir. Por mi parte, nada más. La historia, haré todas las historias ya fuera de cámara, por completar el juego al 100% y esas cosas. Pero me encanta tener una rejugabilidad. Vamos, el juego es rejugabilidad 100%, no es otra cosa. Tienes que pasártelo una y otra vez, volver a fallar todas las veces que sea, pero merece la pena, merece mucho la pena. La historia está genial, me ha encantado, me ha encantado. El plan que idea Reinardo, manda la pina por la piedra Iblis, Zenobia que cae en el hechizo de la piedra Iblis y Reinardo la trae del lado oscuro, digamos, para que esté en sus cabales, contra que no la cague. Yo en ese momento digo, la hemos cagado, se no voy a perder los papeles, se va a cagar Reinardo y todo va a salir mal. Pero bueno, salió bien. El Sky Reaper ha sido lo mejor porque lo han usado para destruir la flota imperial. Lo usan ellos mismos para destruir la flota imperial, eso me encanta. Y luego ya pues nada, la parejita Avelon, que me parece el nombre, Avelon. Y bueno, a ver qué tal. La semana que viene empezará la nueva serie. Ya os comentaré cuál será en mi Twitter. Podéis seguirme por ahí. Haré un streaming este fin de semana si puedo en mi Twitch. Y eso es todo. Nada, espero que os haya gustado la serie, os repito, y podéis darle like, suscribiros, comentar qué os ha parecido, os ha gustado, esperabais más, en fin, ya nos veremos la siguiente semana con un nuevo juego y eso es todo por hoy. Un saludo, hasta luego, chao. El buscador de la verdad desbloqueado, Ah, vale, nada, nada. Un saludo.